So we always look to recreate the sun.
Do we have a light that has
No,
the full spectrum?
we did
Okay.
not.
Okay.
We always had lighting for human vision.
I see.
What we had to do for the last 15 years is figure out why this lighting was very bad. And this is the key function to our system. So we have all the other dynamics figured out, but the most difficult problem for us was doing exactly what we're talking about, bringing the sun manufactured by man into an environment, now having the thermal dynamics or the heat of the device and the frequency of the sun, which we don't heat our earth with the temperature of the sun, it's all the frequency. So now you got two sources of heat in a grow environment instead of one that everything's evolved with. So we had to learn how to make all that and then deliver it. So we didn't just have to make a lamp. Now all of the conventional lighting flickers. We don't see it. It tricks our eyes like TV. We had to make light stop flickering, and all artificial did, and even the new LEDs, the super high-tech stuff, is still flickering at 60 hertz like our wall voltage.
So are we there?
Oh yes, we've had to manufacture these high-frequency electronic ballast and manufacture special bulbs that now work on those, because all the old conventional stuff would not intermix.
So one of the great things that you've done in creating this idea of this food pod is that you have actually had to create all of these, the lighting and all of that to make this food pod
and then,
actually work.
Then once we made the light, we figured out it made so much heat, we had to invent a device to deliver the heat or the light and the thermal dynamics without putting those plants into that photo inhibition situation we spoke about.
I see. So without getting too technical, I want to take a look at some of the plants that you actually have growing and give us a sense of how this could actually increase our food production in a clean and zero waste way. So what is this image that we're looking at, Dan?
Right now, these are examples of what we call VTUs, or vertical tower units. They're a few square feet by 9 meters or 3 meters.
3 meters, 10 feet tall.
And what is it growing?
This is showing pictures of lettuce being grown in the system. Now there's 8 layers instead of 1, so we're able to get 8 times the output from the same amount of space that you would plant in the ground by being vertical. And being the most efficient we can be with water distribution, with light and light delivery, because you don't want to just make the light, you want to get the light where it needs to go. And the system does both. It runs on just a few hundred watts and integrates with our solar and wind technology so that the panels and the turbines can power each one of these VTUs.
So is this off the grid in a sense?
We use the grid as the storage, so when we have the wind and we have the sun and the water rain to recover the energy, we've put it into the grid through grid tied, and we don't use battery storage except for a third battery backup.
I see.
So we have sustainables to run when we can. Then we also feed back to the grid with our grid tied inverter systems. And we always are in a borrow and trade, so we're not asking to be paid back. We just help each other with the symbiotic relation of the grid.
This is amazing. So you wouldn't necessarily be taking more oil generated energy because you're using natural energy to grow. One of the issues that our farmers face is getting access to water. How are you addressing the water in this food pod?
We do a lot of rainwater recovery if possible. And then because our systems are so efficient with water and we don't have heat issues and we keep all of our temperatures in balance, our evaporation is so less, and we only do transpiration and very little evaporation. So that transpiration is what comes out of the plants as they process the nutrients and the water. Now we can recover in our closed loop system the evaporation, the transpiration, recollect that water into our water recovery systems as we do the rain. And our head of lettuce in the field these days are running anywhere from about 4 to 5 gallons of water per head of lettuce.
What's the usual?
That's what the
Okay,
5 or 6
that's
is in the
usual.
field.
Okay.
We are down to 0.6 gallons
Oh.
of water per head of lettuce.
Is that
Amazing. So you're actually saving water too.
Is that without soil? It looks so clean.
No, that uses cocoa core, which comes from all the coconut that we're going to collect off the islands for the that they have to take down for the insurance reasons at the golf courses and the motels. We turn that into a medium here local, and then we mix all of the natural organisms and balance from nature, not man-made, to make the medium give all of the natural organisms and nutrients available for the plant immediately by using ocean water and aquaponics, where we raise tilapia fish in the systems, and then we mix that water with a little salt water, and that's our hydroponic nutrient.
So you get
so
the
we're
nutrient.
very sustainable. We can get wheatgrass or fodder and take the cattle here that we're sending back to the mainland to get healthy and fat, because it's so expensive to get grain here. We can grow the fodder here in these systems and keep our cattle here and not be raising and getting the old ones for our food.
I had
And then
some
having it
pictures
milled.
of wheatgrass.
We can really start, working to show what we can do here in Hawaii and make our little micro world the model for the rest.
Is this similar
No.
to what you guys do? This
Yes, that's some wheatgrass that we're doing fodder, and we can get that in 7 days from seed.
was cool.
Now, what are some of the other kinds of crops that can work in this system?
Basically, if it grows in nature, if you provide the proper lighting conditions, the proper environmental conditions, the proper containers and foods, there's nothing that really can't be replicated.
Okay, so we can do almost everything.
Right.
I did have
and
a,
there's one thing I would like to
Yeah.
please explain, because we've been talking a lot about the food pods in the indoors. Dan and I are always working on systems for the fields here in Hawaii, because we're really concerned about a lot of the land use and the lack of the need, they say, for agri-land, and want to convert that into building or commercial zones. We have a system with our solar wind towers where we can place them like street lights through these fields, collect the wind and the solar on these poles, and on these poles have some artificial lighting that will supplement in the morning a half an hour to an hour and an hour in the evening, and we can get the photo periods open to compete with the Midwest. Because the problem with the sugar cane and a lot of our local crops and trying to grow corn here is we just don't have the photo period near the equator. So our days are not long enough.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
where we've lost our competition is because of our photo. We have lots of sun year round.
So if we added an hour of sunlight,
With our artificial lights,
Would that
use
increase?
Mother Nature, it gives our time that our crops will mature much faster. So we're much more profitable with our time. And while those lights are on, the rest of the time the solar and wind will feed the grid. So the farm will now be a farm and a power generating source to balance the grid.
and these poles are
Are
already
just
in
like-
existence?
Oh yes, we make them and we're putting them up all over. They're a street pole. We've talked to Hayco about them. They just a system that bolts onto the street light along the freeway, puts a wind turbine at the top and a solar panel and a grid-tied inverter, no batteries, and it just assists the grid everywhere it's weak. And when it's sunny out, that's extra power for everybody running their air conditioners. So we have systems for the islands. We've got to find and embrace it, but we just need everybody to understand that we're not here to bring headaches, burdens, and take. We're here to embrace and work, because I'm from the islands. I left here to make something for our home. I wanted to bring something back to all the locals, and that's why I want to work with the schools and teach the young, because we can give people fish, but if we teach them to fish and we teach the young, they will embrace it, and the younger look up to the young.
Exactly. I think that's a actually beautiful vision that you have and that you are creating. Now, some of the things I'm wondering, like I know that everything is in is an ecosystem, so things work with other things. Our plants work with insects in a sense, and the insects work with the plants and the worms and the
It's a
and all of
symbiotic
that.
relation.
Right. So how do you is that somehow brought into your?
It's all there.
It's all there.
It cannot be without that. Unless we've looked at every angle and every discipline of Mother Nature. And that's why hydroponics and indoor growing and all of the things have had such a burden. And Dan can explain from his 30 years of data that they're very exciting when the ma and father or the people start these grows, but it's so much work and it's so hard, as you know, that the children may not embrace it and they go do something else. And so the hand down of the technology doesn't happen. And so we've lost a lot of the heart and the wholesomeness of the family in the food production. This is what we have to bring back. We need all of the symbiotic of Mother Nature, as you just said, brought back into these environments. And yes, everything's matter. The bees are in total devastation. Our ladybugs are just being killed by all the tobacco organic sprays.
Are there bees and
everything is in these systems, and we've also learned to use our systems as we spin the light. We can put wind on that do the pollination as well, but we still rely on the insects for that symbiotic relation that every organism has. What you said, all of that together, pulling one piece out, we found can be devastating.
Amazing. I think we have a caller. Good morning. You're on Piece of the Rainbow.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The information that's coming right now is fantastic. I would like to get a CD and follow-up digital for all the children in Hawaii to this knowledge. You got a bright future. I give him A+, and he did a great study and plenty of good information. Follow up and power to you, brother.
All right. So
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Is there a DVD or a CD available to get more information?
I think did you want a DVD of this hour or of?
I think he wants one of the project, and
I can make a copy of the food production program available to the station.
What you can do is you can give me a call, give me your, leave your number and name with Tiny after we get off, and I will make sure you get a copy. And my number is 524-8416. 524-8416, and we'll make sure you get a copy.
Or just go to her website. I'm sure the number's there.
Thank you so much for your call.
Okay, another call. Hi, you're on Coyote's Radio, Tiny Piece of the Rainbow. Go ahead.
Hello.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, did you want a DVD of this program or of what the topic is about?
No, the whole information. I would like to see a book in the hand of the children.
Okay.
To learn the project and grow with it.
Is there something on YouTube, or do you have a show or anything on?
Nope.
Not yet? Well,
No, we've kept this very secret for the islands.
Okay. Well, again, contact Sonia. Write this number down.
The knowledge is and the information is fantastic.
All right.
So,
Do you have a
Thank
paper
you.
and pencil?
who, myself?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The number is
524-8416.
16. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It is very exciting, and I think your whole idea of actually getting it into the schools. I mean, I can even imagine if it's the size of, a Home Depot, there could be one in every community, and isn't there a problem with transportation? Every time we ship in food, we're paying all of that.
Food miles, the cost of
food miles.
transportation, oil burned.
Exactly.
It makes food
Plus
that
the
much
food
more
is
expensive.
and less fresh. I mean, we're supposed to eat food right after we pick it, and it loses its nutrients
Very
the longer
fast.
we wait.
Very fast.
So, yeah.
Although it does create jobs, I think, for if you're going to have a Home Depot of things and you'll have people working, you would take away jobs of the farmers. Or, no?
We need everything. We are not a either or. We need everybody to get along and be more green, more aware, and use these applied sciences along with all of the technology of standard farming together to grow. This is all about all of us getting better together, not mine versus yours. I want to stress that American farmers are working very hard, and the European farmers, and not being rewarded. And as Dan said, we are the alchemist. We do turn water into gold, platinum, and silver, and we haven't been really addressed because we've lost touch with food preparation, storing of food. Interested.
Again?
Canning food, this process to store food in the seasons where you don't have it. Canning food and storing food came from the time when you didn't have the ability to have
Right.
food shipped from other
Exactly.
hemispheres or from other countries,
Exactly.
relying on UPS or Federal Express for our food.
Exactly. I think we have another caller. Good morning. You are on Piece of the Rainbow.
He's standing by, but I was going to ask real quick if there's any farmers out there. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are, because in Hawaii, like my mom took years to get used to a microwave oven. I mean, sometimes people just are like kind of just stuck on their old ways, and maybe are you guys like that too, or is this something that a local farmer, Mr. Tamashiro out in Waipahu, would be okay with? You know, could he learn this?
Oh, yes, because we want everybody to understand so they can pick whatever
Okay.
part of this technology will help them. The other thing I really want to embrace is we want the products for these food pods assembled, built here in Hawaii. We want to create a job force to put up and teach the sustainables, the wind generators. All the people that build and work on car alternators can now service all the wind turbines. We need to educate our young in these schools about the food pods. They're going to also learn about how to put up these sustainables, learn the new technologies. We're not going to ship it in. We're going to bring parts in and have it assembled here, because if we don't want our food shipped, we also don't want to be shipping things that aren't necessary, because that's part of the food miles, the proper setting up and utilizing things we already have to be efficient.
I see, and I can actually see that then spreading around the world, where our children here will then go and teach this all around the
Hawaii,
world.
California really lead the Western world on what's cool or what's happening. It has for a long time. It's kind of where you introduce a song on the radio. Well, this is all we're going to do is make our song available, and another and another and another, so they can hear it on their radio station. So a regular farmer understands we're not here to hurt him. We need him more. We need every bit of knowledge. We need those farmers in with our schools, teaching the young all they know, and then learning together how we can be better.
But like a
Exactly.
music producer, you gotta promote it sometimes, right, to
Yes.
get that song
You
to
just
be a
have
hit.
to.
Right.
524-1080 is our number. I'd be interested to hear what a farmer has to say. Go ahead, Jay. You're next on the line.
Yeah, are your lights equal to a 1,000-watt light?
Yes, we have lights that can put out the energy of a 1,000-watt light and put the power or photon delivery of up to a 1,600-watt light.
And how much watts is it less than a regular 1,000-watt light?
Yeah, and we'll be using probably, I'd say you want to count on about 800 watts for that type of delivery system. Will be your total energy use.
And you sell them these lights?
Yeah, they're definitely available.
How much are they?
I couldn't answer that question. I'm really not in that side of it. I'm more the technical side. So, just a rough estimate is they're usually around $700 to $800.
We go to that website for you.
I don't have a computer.
Sun Pulse lamps, or okay. You know what? If you want to give me your name and number afterwards, I will get you in touch with the people who can answer your questions and get you the lamps that you need. And again, my number is 524-8416.
We need
Thank
to
you
add
so
your
much,
number
Jay.
on that
I
banner.
just was wanting to know the price. It's kind of high, so that's okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jay.
Thank you so much for
Hey,
the
that's
call.
another thing. The price, I guess, is
Yeah.
something to keep in mind.
Yes,
Of course.
and that's where it comes into the systems. We are working very, very hard right now to amortize those costs for the food systems. But when you're producing food, what the energy and money you're spending to fight Mother Nature and keep everything in that balanced zone, that will definitely outweigh the cost of one-time purchase, because the operating costs are what kill farmers, not the purchasing of the gear. It's continually paying the power, all of the costs to run the vehicles or run the systems. Really, we found that the initial purchase is not always the key problem, and these food functions are always funded. Now, the average parts and little small grows, we found in the mainland, where we're doing a lot of sales of the lights, in the indoor gardening, farming, hydroponics, they're not even breaking even no matter what they pay for the gear, because the cost of energy and operations and water and then getting rid of the excess heat is diminishing returns.
It's interesting because speaking with some of our organic farmers here, I know that they continuously are struggling with so many issues, whether it's environmental or whether it's the pest or whether it's the water or whether, there's drought or so. If I understand what you're doing, your system could eliminate all of those
It
issues.
creates consistency.
Yeah.
It creates the consistency that Mother Nature, which we need. A wind turbine and a solar panel can collect that energy as well as the chloroplat on a plant. But a chloroplat on a plant can be damaged by the wind, the storm. The solar panel likes the storm. It'll collect rainwater, then we can turn that into energy. The wind doesn't hurt the plant. So we utilize the things that plants need all the time, and consistency is what food shippers and food people are fighting all the time, as in, let's just mention one company that I know of, Dole, that does the Fresh Express lettuce. They ship lettuce from the valley near Salinas, where they grow most of it.
So that's not Hawaii lettuce either?
No, but they're shipping it to Chicago. This is just a reference. And they came to us, and we were talking with them, and their biggest issue is consistency from summer, spring, winter, fall, and then shipping it from California to Chicago, where they sell 60 acres worth of lettuce consistently. The consistency is their biggest problem for their customers because of the different time cycles of a year. Winter, summers, winter, they produce a lot slower. We get the consistency of temperature, energy, but still out there always collecting Mother Nature, using her green and clean, and then taking that energy into these environments, and then bringing the right temperatures, the right air, the right electrolytes, all of the things to reproduce Mother Nature. But this consistent level year-round, so we can count on how much energy we're going to save. And we're going to be viable businesses now that can count on our overhead and projections, where we haven't had that in farming. And these are the key things that will be mandatory for field farming, all types of farming, that will be in the best interest of all of the disciplines, not just profit, not just getting it there quick, but everybody being a part of this. And that's why we must embrace the children. We must teach these children and the younger that they have the ability to do this, and it is the new high tech. It intermixes computers, electrical, sustainables, food, setting up the facilities, as he mentioned. These will be jobs. This will be education that will be passed around. We can have all of the India country come here to learn. So we can, like Las Vegas, they are casino heaven. Well, we can make Hawaii, where all these motels full of people coming to our learning conventions. The children will be the references. The schools we set up with these learnings will be podcasts. We can reach out to the third world countries.
I know what you are now. Besides being a pioneer, inventor, electrical, mechanical engineer, quantum physicist, photobiologist, you're a visionary.
Thank you.
That's what you are. And I think your vision is there's a little bit of discomfort with it because it's new, and there's that idea of science fiction where your food is being produced like a food factory kind of a thing. But on the other side, when you think that you are you're going to be getting us off the grid of oil, and you're also not creating waste. I understand that your system produces zero waste.
Yes.
And you're increasing our food production. And what you're doing is you're kind of shifting our farmers from going. You're changing our farmers. If we
want
go
to
in
show
this
them
way.
everything that they know is right, and that they understand
They
Mother
are right.
Nature better than anybody else. They understand and can talk to their plants and understand deficiencies, problems. This is what we need. We need a symbiotic relation between all of that knowledge to help our technology become the best it can be and embraced by everyone in a positive way, and know that we are not trying to be against the field farmer. We love the field farmer. They are the future. We just need to give them a profitable, sustainable way to be constant, consistent, profitable, and not relying on subsidies and all the things that to make them not be self-sustaining.
Yes, exactly. So you're providing a way, a technology to help the farmers.
And knowledge on where organics is right on the money and thinking 100%, and where we've learned that manipulating some plant oils and some plant toxins will be devastating for that organism, even though it's good for us. What are we going to do by concentrating these natural toxins from a plant to a neurological defense for bugs greater than what the plant concentrated it, and then spraying it all over for it be safe for humans? What did we do to that organism? So organic is very wonderful, but we got to look far out into the future to adjust, just like the organisms we're putting into the soils to make the nutrients absorb easier. Well, we got to be careful. If we breed super organisms to do that, if they get back into nature.
I know, which is the issue with the genetically modified organisms that people are so concerned about.
We also do aquarium lighting. And in the aquarium industry, just so you know, we did that. We created a genetic algae, and it got back into the ocean, and it's choking out reefs all over the world.
Yes, I know we have that problem here. So again, a quick summary of some of the benefits would be, of course, it's saving water. You're not producing waste. You're ending hunger. You're supporting organic growing, food security. You're dealing with the food miles. We're getting our food fresher. You're going to be able to educate. We're going to create jobs. I mean, there's so many wonderful things.
Sustainable human resources is our first job. Number one is create the sustainable human resources and let the young and the workforce know to prepare for this. It will be viable. It is our future, and food production is now mining.
And for the radio audience, we just want to remind people we're listening to Piece of the Rainbow, part of Kayani's Radio Tiny from 7 to 9. It's just about 8 o'clock, and we do have a call. Nick, you had a suggestion or you had a comment? Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. If there's a program to start from the government, from state and the government or federal, to start the farmers, that would be a great start. That way it's just proven right there and then. And it's just the money to start, and the philosophy of it and the energy is fantastic. But get some help from the government for them, and for the small farmers, big farmers, and go that side.
We are doing that right now for you.
Then you're going to get big.
And we are doing that right now. We are out there working for the farmer to get him funded, to get this happening, and to make it applicable now.
That's what we need. You don't want us to wait any longer. This is available and ready to go right now.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
And in operation and working, but we're saving it for the islands. It must start here.
Coming out of the islands.
Now, Gerald, did you have any more pictures since you got it set up? Did you want to show anything?
Did you want to show anything?
I do.
I think we're right on. Unless you...
We did get a chance to look at some of the images of the plants growing, which I thought is always fun to look at. If we have some time...
No, we don't. I just wanted to, because he had some stuff ready to go and we never got to it. I was going to say if you wanted to show some graphs or anything, but... again, you're watching us on OC16 and K108 Radio. We're live, and stay tuned. We're going to talk about the Food and New Product Show in just a few moments. Remy is here, who does a water business where it's something like we're talking about. He makes water from air, and we'll show you how that works, and that'll be at the Food and New Product Show this weekend.
That is cool. Well, I really want to thank you for what you're doing. So you did have one more shot? Yeah, we can take a look at it. And as we look at that, I'm going to have to bring you back because there's some questions I still had regarding CO2 and the greenhouses. I know that they have to actually put CO2 into greenhouses too, right?
Yep.
And your system somehow addresses that. And so there's other things that I want to ask you about, so I have to bring you back because we're out of time.
Bet.
But our final image that we're going to leave you with, Dan, is...
I think we just wanted to show you real quickly and basically what the food pod design looks like in the United States. We see on the far left there a geothermal pond. We have a solar and wind field, the white squares on the right, and a food pod in the middle with skylighting. So all these systems are working together to maintain proper temperatures, to generate the energy, and have the area to grow the food, the packing, the processing, and in addition to these, having the facilities to have the education and the sustainable human resources, as Gerald mentioned a little earlier, creating the jobs that don't exist yet is extremely important for kids, and at the highest levels, that's what they're saying.
Of course.
The kids have to start training for jobs that don't exist, and
Right. And why not?
food pod maintenance, solar and wind, street light maintenance, or these solar fields
Very
are
exciting.
great examples of jobs that can be brought to the
Very,
state.
very exciting. I want to thank our panel today, Mr. Gerald Garrison, the creator of the Food Pod, the Food Factory, and for creator of many other things. I want to thank you so much for your knowledge and for your application of your knowledge and creating something that can benefit the world.